Welcome back to another episode of Making a Difference here on Buzz TV. I'm your host, Wayne Veldsman. Today, I'm excited to introduce to you our guest, Ms. Marci Bradley, the actual CEO of Marci Bradley Consulting. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm great, Wayne. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, our pleasure. I'm doing so well over here. I looked into your background a little bit, so much having to do with fundraising, working in the nonprofit sector. But please just kick us off. Tell us a little bit more about what y'all are working on over there at Marci Bradley Consulting.
Yeah, so I have been working in the fundraising space for nearly a decade. I actually did it in-house for many years, being able to have the opportunity to work for many different organizations across the country. And then in 2020, I actually encountered being laid off like many folks did during that time, and decided that, you know what, there's still a need for people to raise money and they want to make an impact in their communities, but they really don't know what to do and where to get started, and they don't necessarily have the help to do that. And so took it upon myself to start my own business and try to, make an impact and help others during that time. And got really lucky that a friend of mine knew what I was planning to do and connected me to an organization here local to me that was looking for exactly that. And so was able to start working with clients pretty much right away, which I know is not always the case. But our work over that time and even now is really to help those organizations, specifically the small to mid-size shops who are lacking the time and the resources in-house to make an impact in their communities, right? So this is usually teams of maybe one or two people who are doing fundraising internally. And so they really need a thought partner who's able to help them figure out what's next. And so that's where we come in. Yeah. And so we help with both the fundraising strategy side of things, but we are also their partner in actually executing things along the way. So that may look like grant writing, events, campaigns, etc. So yeah, we, from strategy to execution, we're there with you throughout the whole journey to help you reach your philanthropic goals and make the impact that you want to have in your community.
That's wonderful. Working with the small to medium organizations that really need the help. And how amazing that after being laid off in 2020, you started your own company. If we can sort of touch on that for just a second, if you can think back, what's maybe some words of advice or just your story of what you went through and how you decided to launch into your own venture after a little bit of a setback.
So it's something that I knew I eventually always wanted to do, but I think we always have this timing in mind of when certain things are going to happen. And so this was kind of my push to make it happen if I was going to do it then. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise in the long scheme of things. But I think the thing that helped me the most at the time of getting started was really just relying on different people in my life that I considered to be a mentor and reaching out to them to ask their advice and guidance on, I had several people that had gone the consulting route at some point in time in their career. And so they were really valuable in just giving me their insights as to things that they struggled with or things that they would recommend doing when starting a business. And so that was really helpful just to even know where to get started. And then one thing that I really wish I had done much earlier on, but I waited until about a year or two into business, was actually hiring a business coach and joining a community of other like-minded small business owners, because it doesn't matter what industry you work in. If you're a business owner, you're struggling with some of the same things and trying to solve some of the same problems with your business. And so joining that business community was really invaluable just to learn from others and help grow my business. And it definitely, it has allowed me to do that. So that would be one thing that I would for sure recommend others as they're maybe getting started.
That's two great tips right there, right? One, look towards mentors, people who've already done it, right? Ask them questions in their experience. It's actually a lot about what this show is about, trying to inspire others. And then 2, getting into a community of other like-minded individuals, right, that are similar to you to help propel you all forward. Love that, Marci. So one thing that I noticed online was that you had mentioned a focus around scalability. All right. When it comes to fundraising, I don't think that's on a lot of people's mind, right? They have a goal for a campaign to raise money, but how does scalability sort of fall into this fundraising sector?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in general, people tend to overcomplicate fundraising, and because it's really not complicated when you think about, in the end, it's bringing people together who have a shared interest for a common goal. And so when I'm working with a new client, I'm trying to help them really evaluate first what has worked and what hasn't, and helping you reach the goals that you see for your organization to really make the impact that you want to have. And what are the different strategies that we can look at executing to get you there? How are those scalable, and how can we be the most efficient and effective in the work that we're doing? And I don't think people really think of it in that way. Like you said, they're really thinking of, I'm doing this fundraising event and I have to make 200K, right? Well, how are we going to then convert those attendees into longtime donors of your organization? So really trying to get them to think more thoughtfully about, how does this come back full circle into other areas of your organization? And it's not a one-time experience for these individuals. So really evaluating all the different ways that they're trying to raise money to ensure that it's scalable and sustainable for the long-term success of the organization.
Love that, right? Don't think of it just one instance, how it's going to come all the way back around for you as well. And 2 things that I noted, right, that I really love, that is to think about it more around bringing people together who have a common goal, right? That's wonderful. And then the second thing was really, evaluate what has already worked, what hasn't worked, and then use that to sort of, help you make future decisions, right? What simple advice that's honestly so mind-blowing that I think a lot of people can use. So, Marci, we're all out of time for today, but thank you so much for being here. There's no doubt in my mind you're making a really big difference in this world.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to connecting with people in the future.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Absolutely our pleasure here. And for everybody else, thank you for tuning in. If you want to learn more about Marci and what's going on over there at Marci Bradley Consulting, you can visit us at iwantabuzz.com. Until next time, my name is Wayne Veldsman, and you've been listening to Making a Difference.